Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops, great millstone, who teach and rule well. Salutation to the beloved prophets and brothers, continue to exhort the sheep in these last days. The title of this epistle is going to be entitled, Keep the Proper Perspective. Keep the proper perspective going forward, right? As we can see, prophetic events continue to escalate as per what scriptures has already foretold, according to the will of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, in order to make full fruition of all things to come to pass, in order to save the elect out of their captivity and bring them into the promised land to be rulers and have dominionship over the entire earth. This is what must come to pass. So as we approach these judgments, we are wholeheartedly seeking Yahweh's face, praying that we may have favor in the times of our needs and to be covered and found worthy to receive salvation. So we'll go into the Apocrypha found in 2nd Esdras chapter 15, and we'll start at verse 24. It says, Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahweh. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. This is an order from Yahweh himself. He says he's not going to spare the sinners. He's not going to spare those who continue to reject his word and keep his ways. Verse 26, it says, For Yahweh knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahweh shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. So we, alongside those that do not keep his ways, he will not preserve them. They shall remain in them. But we have the hopes of being delivered up out of them and away from them and covered from all destruction. So right here is pretty exact and plain upon tables that he will not save those that continue to hearken unto his word and reject the angels and the messengers, the prophets' message. Jumping over to verse 49 of the same chapter, it says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, the sword, which is the firearms, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. He's serious about what he says, and not one word will return back void. This is why we urgently express that you take heed to what the messengers and the prophets are saying in this very hour, for the windows of mercies are closing, and there's going to be all manner of plagues and hell and catastrophe being poured upon Sodom and Egypt for the purposes of bringing out his children. We can see that they were having discussions in the UN about reparations for the children of Israel, and you can see their response. They did not want anything to do with reparations and acknowledging that the sufferings and the punishments that our nation of people have endured per the curse are not in favor of reparations, which means no land, no finances, and those that have a desire to seek out those reparations in such manners, you're not definitely in the truth or in the spirit, because this is not what the word says that he's going to cause to bring about as far as reparations for his children. We'll go into Baruch chapter 4 and verse 27 to 30. It says, Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto your power. For ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was in your mind to go astray from your power, so being returned, seek him 10 times more, right? Have an earnest desire to get into the scriptures and seek out the prophets of old to build up your wisdom expediently and quickly. Verse 29, for he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. So this is what we're looking forward to. This is our hope, salvation. We're not looking for anything else other than to be redeemed and taken out of this captivity. Those who continue to have mirth here and have a commitment to building yourselves up here, you and your families and your pets, and once in homestead and buying land and building homes, it is paramount that you make the necessary changes to show the heart posture that you are willing to leave this captivity and not want to endure and remain in it. Out of order here, but in Jeremiah chapter 35, there's an example of the children of Israel that was in their captivity situation here in a land, and they were told not to partake in that system or partake in building here. So I'll start at verse 5 of Jeremiah chapter 35. It says, and I set before the sons of the house of the Rechabites pots full of wine and cups, and I said unto them, drink ye wine. Almost as if you were inviting these people to get comfortable and situate themselves here. Is why you would offer, some wine and some cup and offer up, these type of things to make yourself comfortable. Verse 6 of Jeremiah chapter 35 says, but they said, we will drink no wine, for Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, ye shall drink no wine, neither you nor your sons forever. Meaning that they weren't going to partake in being unified in Echad with what this house was currently trying to get them to partake in, right? It's almost like this system here may present to you an offer that sounds too good to be true, maybe. And with the proper knowledge and understanding, you will forego those opportunities and those things that may sound good to you, because you know that there is salvation and reparations coming in a different manner from our power Yahweh. Verse 7, he says, neither shall ye build house, nor sow seed, nor plant vineyard, nor have any, but all your days ye shall dwell in tents, that ye may live many days in the land where you are strangers. The children of Israel are in the land of our captivity. Micah 2 and 10 says, depart, for this is not your rest, for it is sorely polluted and it will destroy you. We're not supposed to make a life here in a place that is considered our captivity, that's going to be totally destroyed and annihilated. And we're supposed to dwell in tents. That tents represent something that is not permanent. It's not a permanent structure. It can be taken down. It can be moved away. Consider it something like a rental. You live in an apartment or something. You don't have a permanent tie to it. You can move from place to place, because he says you'll be pilgrims on the earth. But those of you who have a permanent structure here, you are going to find yourself in a pickle. Verse 8, thus have we obeyed the voice of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, and all that he hath charged us, to drink no wine all our days, we, or our wives, or our sons, or our daughters, nor to build houses for us to dwell in, neither have we vineyard, nor field, nor seed, but we have dwelt in tents, and have obeyed and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. Why is this? Because they're in a land that is not theirs. You don't invest in the land of your captivity. You don't go and build out gardens and greenhouses and all these things where Yahweh our power is going to send plagues and destroy all that. He's going to send all manner of plagues, for amendment and scourges, which is why we need to build up our understanding and hopefully build up our faith alongside that, because then you won't have that anxiety of not knowing what's going on, right? So Jeremiah chapter 30, we'll just jump back a few pages. Jeremiah chapter 30, because we're approaching, we're in the midst of what is scripturally known as Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7, but it's going to increase with the famines. Alas, for that day is so great, so that none is like it. It is even the times of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So it only expressly says in this verse here, that only Jacob is going to be saved out of these troubles, right? Because perilous times are coming. And we need to be aware of what's happening, so that way we keep the proper perspective on why these things are happening. You know, if we're keeping our eye on the prize, the things that are happening around us, it's not going to merely affect us as much as those that continue to stay in pure and gross darkness, right? So again, this is not our home. This is not our rest. We should be mindful of the onset of the scourges for amendment that's going to be on the rise. We got famine of the word. That's a heavy one right there, because once the prophets are put away, just like in the days of Noah, when the Most High Yahweh shut him in, the Most High covered him in a safe sanctuary while he caused the flood to happen and washed the sin off the earth, right? The same thing's going to happen again. He's going to take the word away. He's going to remove his prophets. He's going to remove this word. He's going to scrub the internet, so that way you can't find none of this stuff. We got the pestilence. You know, we can see around the world right now, there's some news outlets reporting on all various types of degrees of pestilence and famines. They're shutting down, you know, they shut down the Greater Hormuz. A lot of the shipments and the goods over there are not going to make its way over to the shore here, which is going to cause a domino effect on other things that are said to be to happen in the scriptures. We got the siege, the Sodom and Egypt here is going to be under siege according to the scriptures. You know, it's going to be invaded. There's going to be all-out chaos. There's going to be civil war. There's going to be mass death. We got the implementation of the mark of the beast, the digital system, where it's going to be an implantable chip under your skin or on your forehead, depending on what services the sinners would like to partake in. And upon doing so, that's going to mark them as Hasatan's property, and they're going to be destroyed here. Persecution of the saints. Those that continue to push sound doctrine and fear the Most High Yahweh Yahweh Shai, they're going to be considered, you know, all manner of trouble for Esau, Edom, and he's going to try and do away with them, and he will do away with some of them. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 35. I think I did that one already. Yeah, I did that one already. Let's go to Ezekiel. Sorry. Ezekiel chapter 38. As we can see, the wars escalating and all the countries being drawn in. We're going to be touching on some prophecy. Ezekiel 38. This is talking about the unification of Russia and the Iranians forming an alliance. And it says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, Moscow, and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. Now they're going to be drawn into this war because they have an alliance with Iran, and they all They all use the oil reserves that Iran sells, and they're going to have no choice but to react, because Yahweh said he's going to put hooks in their jaws, and they're going to be drawn out and be in their war garments. Verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and house of Togarmah, and north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. This sounds like the accumulation of Valley of Jehoshaphat, found in Joel chapter 3. Nope. Yes, it's got to be Joel. Yeah, Joel chapter 3 and verse 2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Yasharallah, whom they have scattered among all nations and part of my land. So it is the will of the Most High Yahweh to gather all these nations in order to bring prophecy to the front line for the redemption of his children. These are all Yahweh's plagues. He's going to bring famine. You're not going to be able to grow any food. You're not going to be able to do anything about that. You store any kind of food and you don't keep his ways, he's going to send invaders to your home to make waste of your goods. This is what the scripture says. Second Esdras. I think we read that one already. Now we're going to pick it up there. Second Esdras chapter 15. Back in Second Esdras chapter 15. Oh, that's right. Second Esdras chapter 15, because we're talking about the siege now, the invasion of the nations, and they're also going to have, they're going to step foot here on Babylon the Great. We'll go to Second Esdras chapter 15, and we'll start at verse 28. It says, Behold, a horrible vision and appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Right? Because right now there is military force touching down in Iran there from here, and it seems like as though there could be a turn where they also invade the U.S. Right? It says also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. That would be here. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. There's going to be a lot of military might join to the Carmanians, Iranians, and Arabians to bring forth prophecy. Ultimately, this is all the will of the Most High Yahweh Yahweh Shai. And they shall smite one another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own stars. Just recently, we were seeing video clips of Iranians shooting cluster bombs in the sky, looking like a multiple of stars, right? And even their own stars. And they also put out a small video calling it One Vengeance for All, where it showcases a fiery dart flying through the sky, hitting the Statue of Liberty, which had on the head of Baphomet, I believe. And blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and dung of men unto the camel's hue. And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see, and they that see the beast shall be the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. I'll stop there, because this is what is prophesied in order to redeem the children of Israel. There's no reparations, there's no land for you. The system is not built for you to prosper, but this is all the will of the Most High Yahweh Shai, because this is the punishments of what happens when you transgress and you do not keep his ways. You do not prosper. Even though we find out who we are and where we are, as far as in where we are in captivity, ultimately we just have to hang tight and continue to seek his face while he may be found. We could jump over into Isaiah chapter 13. Those Carmenians, they're going to invade along with many other forces with them. We go into Isaiah chapter 13, and this is all the will of the Most High Yahweh. Verse 13, it says, "Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of their place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one to his own land." Well, I don't know how that's going to be possible now that the airports are ultimately going to be taken over by another agency, and I don't think there's going to there's not going to be any fleeing out of here. Verse 15, "Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword." So this is why we urgently tell you to separate from those that do not have the understanding and the truth of the scriptures and what we're talking about and prophesying unto you. Because if you are, you're going to catch a bad one, being in the company, being in the same union as those that might and very well be, caught up in this judgment. Verse 16, "Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them," this is Russia, "which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." They're not here for all that. They're here for one purpose. And we read that in verse 16. "Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children." There's a lot of young adults that don't want to go and fight in this war, and even so, if they don't, if they're not called to serve the Most High Yahweh Shai, they're ultimately gonna be found in that verse right there, verse 18. So we'll go to Jeremiah chapter 32. This is all, in the midst of Jacob's trouble, heightening. There's going to be famines, wars, pestilence, all the Most High Yahweh's judgments. But for the elect, it's good news, because that means our redemption draweth nigh. We'll get out of this captivity, and we'll praise our power Yahweh every single day that we have breath in our lungs. Jeremiah 32 verse 37 says, "Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whither I have driven them in my anger and in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power. And I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and of their children after them. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, that I will not turn away from them." This shows you right here. This is another verse that shows you that we're not in the new covenant just yet. We have to be brought into the land to pass under the rod of inspection, and may have hopes of acquiring this blessing and be put into that second covenant, because we will truly know what the fear of Yahweh truly is after seeing what he does. I will not turn away from them, but to do them good. But I will put my fear in their hearts, that they shall never depart from me. Yea, I will rejoice over them to do them good, and I will plant them in the land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul. And thus saith Yahweh power, like as I have brought all this great evil upon this people, so will I bring upon them all the good that I have promised them. He sounds very happy because he wants to do that. Right? 33, verse 33, same chapter, Jeremiah 33, verse 6 to 8. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and I will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Yasharallah to return. This is the unification of the northern southern kingdom. This is why we have the 12 tribes chart to show you who the 12 tribes are, according to the prophecy found in Ezekiel chapter 37. This is where the 12 tribe chart come from. We may touch on that. Verse 8, and I will cleanse them from all their iniquity whereby they have sinned against me, and I will pardon all their iniquities whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. Right? Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, I will form. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 14 on down, it says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will perform that good which I have promised unto the house of Yasharallah and to the house of Yahwadah. So, again, you only ever see him talking about reuniting the southern and the northern kingdom. This is a bloodline thing. This is not just anybody that can step up to the plate and receive this blessing, because salvation is only for the 12 tribes of Israel only. Salvation is only for the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And the reason why this has to be understood is because when you add anything to the doctrine, when you add anything to the word, you're causing it to be defiled. It's not the truth, and it's a lie. You're adding your own based upon your emotion or something else. This is not an emotional thing. You're just lining it all up. Verse 15, in those days and at that time I will cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. In those days shall Judah shall be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. This is what's expected to come to fruition after all the judgments, famines, plagues, and wars to be brought back into the fold and back into the full swing of the covenant. And we'll go and quickly touch on, the 12 tribes chart. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. People dismiss it. It's okay. It's not for them. 12 tribes chart. The prophecy is found in Ezekiel chapter 37. We could start at verse 16 on down. It says, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it. What do you mean write upon it? He says to write upon it. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it. So imagine we have a stick, right? And he says, write upon it. What do you want me to write upon it? For Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. You want me to put the southern kingdom on his stick? Yes, write upon it. Okay. Judah, Benjamin, Levi. All right. Then take another stick. Got another stick. Write upon it. For Joseph and the stick of Ephraim, for all the house of Israel, his companions. You want me to write the northern kingdom on this? Yes, write upon it. Okay. Northern kingdom, Ephraim all the way down. Right? Boom. Now what? And join them one to another into one stick. Okay. Okay. One stick. Now what? Into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. Yes, sir. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, what wilt thou show us what you mean by this? So now that you have made one stick and you put all the 12 tribes on there, and the children of Israel are going to walk past and say, what is this about? Right? And when the children of the people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, I will take the one stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and I will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and will make them one stick, and they shall be one in thine hand. So you go through that verse, whatever, and you see that he's combining them, making them one nation again, no more divided. And then you got the 12 tribes right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what it is. So I hope that was edifying, and I pray you got some understanding. So until the next time, Shalom.